First pick.
Aatrox, question mark? Really strong team fighter. The Aatrox, yeah, there we go. The ultimate is so big now, for the team fights. I am curious because I previously would have been like, all right, it's definitely going to be in the hands of Huni. However, Damonte has played a lot of melee champions in the mid lane in solo queue recently, and they can definitely flex the Aatrox to mid lane if they feel it necessary. But if it is in the hands of Huni, this is going to be a lot of pressure on him because Aatrox is such a powerful pick and kind of game warping when you get to those team fights. They definitely need to pay attention.
Irelia's locked in. I was going to say, if you do get Irelia towards mid, it'd be nice to put AD up against AD. You can get that fight going on. Maybe bot lane here for Clutch. So they don't show too much more, and they are faced with what could be a flex and a jungler on the side of TSM.
A little hover shout out there to the Cloud9 combination of the Gragas Yasuo that we had previously, the C9A special. It looks like Clutch very well aware of possibilities here. I think that Gragas works on his own, by the way. I think Gragas is an independent jungler, very strong after the recent buffs to the health. They gave Gragas more flat health and scaling health per level. So all around, just a lot more reliable, a lot more tanky as the game goes on. You still want to go that Runic Echoes, and you still can make a lot of use of the flash engages from this champion. It's extremely potent at making, especially early game plays, but also late game plays. So we'll see if TSM can actually execute here. This will be the first time we see Grig not on Hecarim.
Yep. I love seeing these kinds of champions as well when you don't get a lot of displacement or things that will kind of push you out of your position in a game. It's kind of hard to readjust yourself to play around that. So now seeing these Grag Yasuo comps in, the likes come out, has been super awesome to see players kind of bring to that high tier. Lux locked in. This has been such a big pick for me to see lately, and it has so much agency wherever it is on the map. You have to respect it. It's like when Aframu would pick Morgana and you see the bindings just start locking in because people aren't respecting it. You get a lot of that out of Lux, and more supports and mid laners have been picking her.
Yeah, I think it's great in both lanes, especially good in the support lane with how much utility you can get off the shields. But I think something that's also super underutilized right now, with the prevalence of Lux picks, I would like to see a lot of invades with it. It's so good at invading with level 1 powers. You hold your skill level up until you actually get a confrontation, but if you do, you can get early game kills, early game flashes blown if you have this setup early on to actually go and invade and try and find that advantage.
You have such a high chance in that scenario to get a flash. You're in a choke point, you have binding. By the time you see somebody with Lux at that range that early, that's basically going to hit. So the ability to get a flash is so great. I agree with you. You should see more invades with that. Caitlyn's gonna get locked in on the side of Zven. Lots of long range seeming like it's going in that bot lane.
Yeah, that's quite the combination. One of those bindings lands, it's a classic. Put the trap down right under their feet, and you have a very similar to, Morgana Caitlyn lanes that are classic, only this one a little bit more powerful now that Lux is in the situation she is. But we get another Gangplank here. We might be seeing that mid lane flex I was talking about with the Aatrox going to Damonte.
See, he likes the power to be in his hands. He is a player that can take the 1v1s. Neeko getting locked in as well for the side. So one of these is going to become a jungler for Aatrox. Lira taking that in the jungle?
Yeah, Lira's probably going to be the ones at the helm of the Aatrox this time around. I'm not quite as big a fan of jungle Aatrox anymore. It's still quite prevalent, across the world, but you don't have the same levels to be that just ginormous team fight threat to be as threatening. For my taste from the jungle, you're a little bit less strong. There we go, though.
The crown.
Crown is used Twisted Fate for 2 wins for Optic, and Bjergsen going to pick this one up here. I'm very curious to see if he also goes with, the Rod of Ages, kind of stack up a little bit more healthy build for Twisted Fate, or if he goes for cooldown reduction earlier on in the build and tries to get the side lanes going, because these are very, very snowbally top lanes. You can get an Irelia into Gangplank super far ahead if you focus it. Twisted Fate and Gragas, that's actually an insane top line triangle of the map for TSM if they wanted to focus on Broken Blade. And you get that Irelia to the point where it can tower dive Gangplank, it really does warp the map in your favor.
They have lots of ways to stop this team that wants to get in. You could light binding Rakan as he comes in on Vulcan. Seems like it's going to be a pretty volatile game. I'm loving it. All those teams stuck at 2-2. Chronological Gaming just moved out of that boat. Now we have Clutch and TSM to see who can get that win, who can move up over 500. Clutch has been able to right a few of the wrongs and get those wins they've been looking for here in the early part of the season. TSM is looking to show the power that they usually have, the pedigree of this team and the history. Bring that back to the Rift and get themselves to a playoff position. Still very early in the season for teams to kind of dish out what they have and figure out what is going wrong. And we'll see how good that homework is here coming into our fourth game of the day. Clutch Gaming versus TSM is on the Rift.
All right, let's see if we do get that level 1 invade. CG spreading out, so probably going to be defensive opening here. Same for TSM. We do have the sweeper on Grig though, so you can try and find that level 1 ward that CG put down. I don't think he saw this one placed because it was placed from the brush from Lira. Definitely out of the fog of wars. We get the good toggle there. So you can still just go guess at one of the pixel brushes if you don't see anyone place down a ward and try and get that early golden experience as Grig is kind of hovering into the river right now.
Ping just over it.
Late invade, maybe?
Stay safe. Yeah. I mean, you have the gold card right after you have a light binding, so you're going to be able to spread both ways and at least get a little bit of knowledge about where everybody is. They hide. They know the bot lane is down there, but they're able to kind of suss out that Lira will not be.
All right. Looks like it is going to be a top side start for both junglers. That means bottom lanes will both get to start in lane. Caitlyn Lux, with the extra range and harassment, should be able to put up a very strong answer to the Xayah Rakan, which typically with the attack speed Xayah Rakan can get early on is such a big advantage, but Caitlyn Lux, no slouch of a duo either. Last time that was played was week 5 by Bjergsen versus Phoenix 1. As far as his professional history on the champion.
And let's set up, Pastry is with a sideline report with Scrag to see how Clutch is feeling coming into this game.
Thank you very much, River. I had a quick chat with McScrag and just asked him what is the game plan moving into this game, given how much momentum and how well the team did last week. He said that in general, now that they've proved that they can do it and can carry the momentum forward, they want to take the good early games from LCS, the good scrim results that they've consistently had, and try and ride that forward. And at this point, he says there's no excuses for the team, so I'll be looking for them to really carry that through and continue to have solid performances. Back to you guys.
Yeah, they were really impressive numbers, you know, by 15 minutes, averaging that 2,000 gold lead for Clutch Gaming. And this time around, they do have Gangplank on top side. As you can see, Huni gonna give up some of the pressure in lane. Broken Blade does a good job of pushing and then going down to ward. So it's something I probably point out every single time I see the top laners do it, but it's so important. After you push that wave, head into the jungle, get that vision for your jungler to be able to have more information for the early game and keep those lanes pushing ahead.
Such an easy and safe ward. Almost easier as well. You don't have to walk down past the scuttle crab that's been taken, since you don't have any vision there from the opposing side jungler. So good idea, Kobe. PSA, ward that side.
And scuttle crab is number 2 on your list. Once you get your second push, Irelia has a stun. It's always great if you can get top scuttle with one of your laners and then bottom with your jungler. As you can see right now, Zven and Smoothie on the Caitlyn Lux using that extra range advantage for the big push means that there's a lot of power in the lanes for Grig to try and work off. Now, Lira does reveal himself there, popping the Scryer's Bloom, walks past the ward here.
Dun dun dun! Just a quick gank. Nice flash onto Huni. That's a thank you very much. Yep, he'll walk out, not even clear that ward and take his time as he's going to go get the scuttle to make sure that's, like you said, second on his list.
That is efficiency right there. You walk by, you use one spell, boom, flash blown. And remember in Champ Select, we were talking about Twisted Fate plus Gragas and Irelia. That's an insane dive on the top triangle of the map. It's definitely a possible point that I would keep my eyes on for TSM with this type of composition. You know, you want to get that snowballing option off the table. I'd say that's one of the problems that we've seen with TSM in summer here. In spring, they worked so well off Broken Blade, but in summer, they have not quite done the same.
That doesn't feel too good. On the binding, the ignites there, and the auto attack from the flash forward. Just when you think it couldn't happen, TSM set up first blood.
Yep, the bindings into traps there, Riv. That's quite a long time that you have to stay stationary. Zven and Smoothie, you land one skill shot, you're able to get the entire combination there. I didn't quite see the very beginning of it, but all 4 flashes blown on the bottom side. Lira wants to punish Broken Blade for pushing this minion wave all the way to the turret, but Broken Blade senses it could possibly be a mistake and backs right off.
See this one more time. I believe Cody Sun heals.
Yeah, but look at that. Smoothie nails them with the double light binding on the way out. Rakan's path back to Xayah is very straightforward, and Smoothie does a good job lining that one up for the snare, and then it's an easy trap, as you're talking about, right out of the binding for the guaranteed kill. Smoothie immediately igniting as well, so the heal cut in half. And Caitlyn getting first blood. As you know, as a bottom laner, Riv, that could be very painful. Early BF sword.
Hurts a lot. It means the headshots are going to be taking about 15% of your HP at this low level. So Vulcan's going to be looking to shield up quite a bit as those come around. We might see Zerk Greaves coming up real fast by Zven if he can get that money in his pocket. Top side of the map, 39-36. No buy yet just for Huni, as he's saying, my flash is down, but that doesn't mean I can't stay and bait in a kill here, as Lira's ready for at least a counter or a gank of his own.
Yeah, and look how defensively Broken Blade's playing it. He knows they have no vision of Lira, and he could be on the top side, even with the flash advantage here. Level 6 might change things, though, so I think that's what Lira's hoping for. He's kind of setting up for a counter gank here. He's like, okay, maybe TSM go for it when Broken Blade hits level 6, so he wants to be there to protect Huni and go for a counter gank. You lay down the Gangplank ultimate, you try and 2v2 in it, and Lira just ushers up those minions for Huni, allows the flashless Gangplank to play much further up than he normally would. That is at the cost of Lira's experience, though. Level 4 Aatrox really lagging behind.
That's true. This is the guy who's going to be kind of hoping he gets assists in the fights, not the one zeroing people out. Makes it a little harder with that new Aatrox passive.
Can he get 5 off this? Get a couple of them. Boom.
Nice. Easy peasy. Grig towards the top side. Not too much faster of a clip going through the jungle than Lira, but he's definitely made a lot more happen on the map. A quick route over to the side. 1-2. Oh my gosh. A headshot even after the trap and the caliber net. So nicely stacking up the shots to get that scaling and the damage down onto Vulcan over and over.
Yeah, you thought the headshot hurt before out of the trap, and this one is got a BF sword behind it.
He's sitting on 3 potions too, 2 biscuits and a potion. They can continue to harass, be okay with taking damage in. Fleet footwork also keeping him a bit healthy and sped up in lane to the lethal tempo of Cody Sun. And trade over to Damonte. We haven't seen too much of him in mid lane. He's been, like you said, he was vocal about saying the team just wasn't playing up to their potential just yet. And he wasn't happy with the opening week. So he is definitely trying to make a mark on his lane and the rest of the game all the time.
And you can see he's gone with the early Mercury treads here. This is both for, yes, a gold card stun, reduction in timing, but also because it's basically double AP threat early game since Gragas is the jungler. Magic resistance early buys in mid lane when they have an AP jungler are so efficient because that is basically all of the damage that you're going to be taking. Even though normally you're like, oh my god, that early Merc treads is not really going to give you a lot of combat effectiveness. In this case, it does give him plenty of defensive options, and this is the Glacial Augment Neeko from the mid lane, looking for the AP build for big AoE team fighting.
Oh, Glacial Augment. This is one of those things. Always hard to play around because you don't play around it that much, but those slows can catch you off guard. We'll see how those play out throughout the fights once Damonte gets himself to that position and item ability. And coming up on 9 minutes here, still quite a bit of time to take down plates across the map. 2 have actually been dropped off of Clutch Gaming's bottom turret, so a great lead coming from this Caitlyn Lux lane. Has so much agency and range, and now Vulcan's kind of second-guessing his abilities to dive in and back up for harass.
All right, Riv. Well, question was answered. It is not the Rod of Ages first, Twisted Fate as Crown was doing, but we get our Reddit build of the Trinity Force Twisted Fate. Bjergsen with the early phage. Now, Trinity Force actually works so well on Twisted Fate because all of the stats are so useful early. The attack speed, cooldown reductions, Sheen procs allow for a very powerful early spike for Twisted Fate and allow Twisted Fate to go for more frequent roams around the map and more impactful roams. When your card lands with the big proc is going to do more damage and you get more cooldown reduction for more ults.
I don't think Lira wants to see what's on the other side of that wall in a quick second. Right now, the vision is denied. He's going to see Lira. There goes World Ender. He's going to flash in and try to get the ult down, and he may just get blasted back. A nice quickness, however. The damage is coming through. Lira's going to get that reset. He's going to get the HP burst. Now he's on to Greg. Another one coming out. Vulcan possibly getting the Quill down, but they'll give it to Lira. One next hit, and he is going to get it with the Q. A double kill from Lira after a slow and patient early game.
And just like that, the Aatrox will be a fearsome team fighting machine. CG are able to get the first kill, allowing Lira to reset on the ultimate. You chase down number 2, and this all of a sudden is such a recovery for CG. TSM were absolutely wiping the floor with CG early on, but now they've got some hope. Still large gold advantage for TSM, but let's take a look. Lira flashes in, goes for the initiation, and sets up Vulcan.
Oh, no.
In the double knock through. Yeah, gonna be a little unfortunate there. But again, gets the reset, movement speed to chase down Grig, lands the last Q here. Let's take a look at how, the Twisted Fate ult got interrupted. It was just literally Damonte chasing him down, keeping his wits about him, and then gets the flash out from the ultimate activation. Very nice chase there from Damonte. And some hope here for CG because TSM still 1,000 gold in the lead off of the bottom lane having such a good just 2v2 performance.
I was going to say that fight spins a bit of what we're seeing in the inventories completed Trinity Force and Infinity Edge here against these kind of losing competitions, albeit bought after the fight, so you can see how far ahead TSM was to actually take that hit. And now it will be Rift Herald going over the side of TSM. Nicely picked up by Grig. They have the option to kind of set pace on the map wherever they want, when they want now. 11:30 on that clock. Remember said these teams are 2-2. Still kind of finding out what's been working throughout this entire split, even be it 2 weeks, but it's been a bit of the mid lane for TSM, getting Bjergsen on something with quite a bit of utility. TF can throw out the slows, the golds with that lockdown and get himself buffed back up with those blue cards. Here onto Broken Blade. That's his last bit of mana. Last flawless duet's gonna have to be a good one. Infernal Chains knocks him back. I don't know if the follow-up damage is gonna be enough without minions under the turret, but man, he is not gonna have fun in lane after that much damage.
Spot on, Riv. It's gonna have to be a good one, and he got both of them with the stun, saving his life just barely there. Take a look at Bjergsen as he roams down to the bottom side. A lot of this gold, by the way, is coming because, he's Twisted Fate with the Kleptomancy in mid lane, but Bjergsen definitely stacking up quite a healthy lead in the gold himself on the top side with some good procs and gold sacks on the Kleptomancy. Bottom side, Zven and Smoothie continuing to push the long-range harassment from Caitlyn Lux, really taking its toll.
Bjergsen playing a bit aggressive, but also safe to Damonte. They have good vision from both sides around it. I'd say Clutch Gaming's vision is a bit better around mid. Final spark towards the bot side as the Peacemaker comes across. Zven and Smoothie just completely holding down town there in the bot lane. 129 to 114. Xayah and Rakan still provide each other with quite a bit of duo buff, so do not take them lightly. Lira getting pushed out of his jungle. You can see the Predator's on for Damonte as he uses the Pop Blossom, then flash to get out. Nice stopwatch for safety, and he gets in front of the big guy. Nice job by Lira to be the protector.
Yeah, bodyguard Lira pops the ult, puffs up his chest, tries to walk in between, and he's able to hold off the dive there onto Damonte. TSM got a lot of cooldowns out of it, though, and that is going to result in tower pressure. Meanwhile, Broken Blade on his own on the top side gets this turret plate almost all the way down. He can just see that gold.
Next time. Oh, it literally has like 1 HP.
Yeah, you have to be super careful in those situations, actually, because the range on tower plate gold is fairly short. So you don't want to be out of range when the minions take it, or else that just goes into the ground. Yeah. He is able to return, get that tiny little bit of extra damage.
It's like what is this? Come on, just give the gimme. Almost with the bindings, Smoothie and Zven playing their own game of cat and mouse down here with basically Vulcan. They don't want Cody Sun. It's been Vulcan every time. Take away that initiation, you can push Cody Sun out of farming.
All right, Irelia working towards her Trinity Force as well, as Broken Blade off of that extra turret plate money goes for a reset. Tries to get some armor first because he's dealing with double attack damage threats on the top side of the map. That Aatrox with the 2 kills is basically CG's hope right now, remember. That was the big play they made on bottom side, trying to get themselves something back into this game, and it is a warrior completed. So Lira trying to find more where they got the earlier victory. Bottom side once again. I don't think they know there's a ward in that side brush though. And no kind of TSM aggression, so no play here available for Clutch to go after.
Boots coming in for Huni. Keeps himself a little bit faster now with those free ones coming in. Top lane is still 139 to 123. We haven't seen Huni's ultimate play too much of a role across the map. We've also seen Broken Blade kept in his lane by Lira and Huni, as we expected this to kind of be one of our top lane duos in Clutch Gaming. They've worked well together in the past. They seem to be giving Broken Blade a hard time, but not hard enough just yet.
And we're approaching a very pivotal moment in this game. Because of the composition that TSM are running, what you want to do with your Caitlyn Lux lane, as soon as you get your tower advantage on the bottom side, you rotate your Caitlyn Lux to the mid lane, allow your Twisted Fate to make use of the ultimate. Bjergsen right now can put out a lot of pressure roaming between lanes. Whenever Twisted Fate is in the fog of war, Clutch have to be so worried about any sort of teamfight that breaks out. And if you rotate the Lux and Caitlyn around the map, take all the outer turrets, then you get to play your split map game. Your 1-3-1 with your Irelia and Twisted Fate pressuring the map and just slowly accruing these advantages over your team, starving them out of ult. There we go. We do have the rotation. They put the Caitlyn and Lux into the mid lane right on time. Let's see if they're able to finish off that mid turret. Similarly as close as Cloud Dragon actually draws some attention.
Looks like Bjerg slides down to the bottom with that being up. Seems like they want that movement as well. It would definitely help out Bjergsen. It's not a necessity for him, but he could be able to route the fight. If he finds Vulcan on the backside and Cody Sun's already gone in, that really disrupts how he wants to hit his targets with the quickness. It looks like everybody's going to pull off there. So Bjergsen from the bot lane, we still have mid, and this is going to make it a little bit harder for Damonte. He hasn't been really able to participate in too much, but now he's forced to farm.
And let me say that the teleport on top side means this should be a TSM Dragon. Because there's a big discrepancy here. Yes, Gangplank can use the ulti, but Broken Blade has teleport, so you can actually join. It's a level 11 Irelia, so you have to give up that objective. Not to mention TSM's very large lead here that is on mainly Caitlyn. And a little bit there of Twisted Fate means they're so powerful around this early dragon. After that objective, we get to break out into the strategy that I was talking about earlier, where they have Irelia here, Twisted Fate using this wide open lane, and then the Caitlyn Lux basically holding this mid ground, allowing this team to starve Clutch of resources and slowly whittle down the rest of the turrets.
It's crazy too, because you have so much siege pressure with Caitlyn and Lux. You could throw out the Loosen Singularity just to keep them from charging, a Light Binding if they do get by that, and traps to set up all across the map. That 3 squad you're talking about is so powerful to withstand.
Oh, can they get attacked?
A good Q onto Smoothie, and chains miss and do not draw him back in with the slow. Greg was just on the other side of the wall too, so they would have gotten quite a surprise with the cask. Clutch looked like they had a good opening for a fight there though.
Yeah, and that's a punishable summoner spell. Eyes will be on Smoothie now. A support Lux, while incredibly annoying and very, very potent, for the bottom lane, is definitely a vulnerable target here later on once you get to these team fights. No flash on Smoothie will be something that Vulcan, with that Rakan specifically, might look for.
Just by nature, your support with Moby Boots and your Squishy, you're going to die warding. It's very dangerous. So yeah, he's got to be careful, especially with that flash down. You're right. A lot of that vision is being focused towards, vision and power is being focused towards the top of the map now. Smoothie just behind Zven with Bjergsen, as they want to get some of that damage onto the turret, but they find Smoothie with a flash down. This is how bad they want it. Immediately onto him. The reset coming in for Greg, and he's going to feel good with World Ender. If he can come back up, still a little bit low on health, he's going to be taken down actually by Broken Blade as he gives him the res, but that may be enough for the team to stall and figure out they can take him down without any retort from CG.
Well, they found Smoothie, but the rest of TSM got their vengeance for their support. Vulcan steps on the trap, gets annihilated by Caitlyn here, and then Lira gets killed right after getting back up. Even though they got the reset, he could not get out of the team fight. Flash blown as well.
Smoothie is back up. That was a lot just for the Lux, and TSM cashing quite a bit. We'll see how it happened.
Yeah, Vulcan did go in, so they get the Smoothie, but getting back on that trap there was a huge amount of burst damage because then the headshot comes in. Grig had the Gragas ultimate, which chunked him down, and Zven was able to get off the channel on Caitlyn's snipe before he was able to get completely out of the fight and out of vision. It meant that 2 kills were given over in that support exchange, and TSM actually got the greater of the gold.
The Essence Reaver coming in for Zen Infinity as Essence Reaver 2-0-1. And Caitlyn, almost nobody can touch you already. He gets rapid fire cannon down the line, and he is just going to be poking people out with this build.
Definitely going to be hurting from those crits. We'll see on the side of Clutch Gaming, though. Cody Sun, even though Vulcan's gone down 2 times, Cody Sun has still been able to keep up a little bit here, and he's working on probably the rapid fire cannon here to boost up this Essence Reaver. So we'll see if he can actually put out the damage on the side. Huni's going for it!
Bjergsen locked down, and it looks like the Pop Blossom keeps him just in place. A few more shots, and Damonte wanted that very bad, but Bjergsen's gonna be able to hold strong. A little bit of health from that Trinity Force paying off.
Damonte trying to get in there. Mostly enough burst damage, but Bjergsen a little bit too healthy, is able to fight him off. This Trinity Force procs on Twisted Fate deals a lot of damage back, tries to fight his way out, and is successful. Meanwhile, Grig chasing CG away from that control ward. They will be able to protect it and let it generate back up.
Heal back up. I've been trolled so bad by wards healing back up. You walk right in, you think you got it, you're dead. Clutch Gaming won't fall prey to that this time. 20 minutes on the clock, that means Baron is ready to be taken, but it's going to be mid-turret in the eyes of TSM here. 2-1 as they take that down. It's still 3-3, however, as the map has not been opened up by the way of champions enough to do more to the structures. You see Bjergsen cleaning up top lane here. We might get a fight soon. I'm waiting for the composition of the Gragas, the TF, the Irelia. If you get TF to pour it in somewhere, they think they have a fight. Disarm everybody with Irelia, and you are in there for the win there, if you will.
All right, Dragon gonna come up. This is gonna be the next point of a possible team fight. I don't think that Clutch would fight it, though. TSM have so much vision around this Dragon, and it's just so dangerous to try and walk into that sort of vision advantage when the enemy team has so much potential of picking you off with the Twisted Fate, Lux, and Gragas. All of these champions will just annihilate you if you step forward. So TSM once again retain their Dragon control while first trying to push up the minions. And a teleport back here from Bjergsen means that they aren't going to lose anything on the top side. Maybe mid gets pushed in as Clutch are up at the tower.
It's hard to get against Lux and Caitlyn. That wave clear is destructive. And as soon as the minions are going to reach for Clutch, they get taken away. Reset here in the mid lane. Damonte throws his clone just behind it. Caused TSM a little bit of chaos, but he's just being a nuisance right now in the rotation. Clutch Gaming have quite a bit of control over that top side jungle, but TSM don't want to use it. So Clutch have to figure out a different way in, have to figure out how to push that vision forward and use that security system to get the advantage. Huni back down to the bot side, and we're going to get a lot of back and forth until somebody can actually pressure this Baron.
All right, let's see if they can get their 1-3-1 in operation again. Bjergsen working off the top side. Twisted Fate is available with the ultimate. Bottom side defense holding strong. One of the biggest things about the Caitlyn lanes is as you transition through to the mid game, the traps can be such a big tool for setting up on these objectives and denying possible engages. It's one of the hardest things for Aatrox to deal with because you still have to find a line into the team fight. And sometimes it can be very difficult with those Caitlyn traps and the initial spawns. If you don't have teleport like a regular top lane Aatrox, you don't get to teleport in for a flank. You have to really work your way around some control wards.
Yep. All 5 champions have hard CC on the side of TSM. So anything hits Lira, he's definitely getting a trap under him because Zven knows that he is the target. Good clearing of the wards. Zombies getting placed out as they move power in numbers with this squad in the mid lane. TSM not allowing Zven to get too far away from the other members, and Smoothie will always be right there on the leash. Here come the spooky ghost. Damonte from the side. Look at the back though. Bjergsen gets Damonte, and he's going to be able to hit him off. The clone goes in. The Pop Blossom is only used in defense, and a lot of clutch is being used in defense. Nice final spark, and that's going to be the Peacemaker kill going over onto Damonte after it all stops down.
Honors to Smoothie there. He stops that Rakan engage in its tracks with the binding. I think I need a replay, maybe slowing it down there, because I'm pretty sure Smoothie gets the flash, lands it onto the Rakan that just went for the flash initiation and denies that opening. It all happens so fast, but TSM are able to get that kill. And once you get a kill on this team with the extra teleports ready, Bjergsen goes up to the top side with the attack speed build on Twisted Fate, makes quick work of the objective afterwards. Take a look here, because Gragas is definitely the target. Vulcan goes in, yeah, that flash right into Smoothie's binding as he throws it point blank. It's, once the Rakan is denied, Rakan's engage all relies. Completely relies on the speed snap initiation there. If that gets stuffed, and it's completely going to turn around.
Those are a few of the reasons I was saying before in our previous game. You see the Rakan ulting out of view or ulting kind of under a champion bigger than him. You need to hide that now. That 0.5 seconds is quite a tell before you can get your W in. Smoothie was able to use that time, and the fast fingers was able to get the fumble onto Vulcan's initiation. 4-3, as there was only one kill picked up there for the entire fight, so you could definitely see both teams understanding the power brought to these engages, and Clutch was respecting quite a bit of the space TSM wanted, and they will start to control the map ever so slightly. Traps in mid do not allow too much position forward here for Clutch, but they will be able to drop a turret on the other side, countering Bjergsen's top turret down.
It's one of those things where you have to have more creative angles when you're playing against champions that have skill shots that can stop your engages, right? Rakan is going to need to jump to an ally maybe to go at a different angle, or flash at a diagonal. Because if you flash in a line at Lux, it allows Smoothie to pre-cast the binding. If you throw it in a line where Rakan is charging, then you're still able to land it as a slow-moving projectile. And sometimes you have to get a little bit more creative with those angles. I think next time around we'll try and see if they can get a little bit more of a fog of war play, but
yeah,
generally the same idea, right? Because you still need that very quick Rakan engage to start this team fight off. There's nobody else that can make it happen for Clutch Gaming. They have to have Rakan with Gangplank ultimate, and then maybe something like flashes from Damonte's Neeko and Aatrox to try and get in there for the big AoE, but it has to all set up with very, very short timings.
It's also on a Smoothie, we have to think. He uses light binding in the wrong way, and Vulcan is going to pull that trigger immediately. Bjergsen's going to have to pull a gold card. Grig's going to have to look at something different. The way they have it set up now is that Smoothie's got to be the man to make that lockdown. So we'll see both supports having quite the task ahead of them, and who's going to get the better of each other. It's going to be another Drake going over to the side of TSM. The map control has continued to mount throughout Game 4 here for them. And they're going to easily pick that up without any counter. A bottom lane push by Damonte. TSM reset. We'll see if we get back to that one at 3-1.
All right, TSM retains their dragon control. Let's see if they actually can push up to the secondary turrets now, because you still want to have, again, another reset to that same strategy.
Yeah.
1-3-1, your Caitlyn plus Lux and Gragas trio in the mid lane should be incredibly safe with all the defensive options that they do have. You know, even Azonia's now picked up by Grig, so they can hold that. You just allow this Twisted Fate to gain distance on the bottom side. Bjergsen actually trying to find Damonte in the brush. He does pop the ultimate for vision, and he's going for it!
Card stack almost there. Ultimate. He's going to be heading out of this one. He wants to clear the wave and get it pushed up even more. Instant thought to make sure there was more pressure in that lane. I just almost killed my opponent. The wave needs to be much farther up. Bjergsen is completely trying to get everybody ahead. And it looks like they will have a teleport back into the mid lane.
It's all around the map right now. Zven going to teleport back up. They're going to push out this mid wave, top and bottom in their favor, and a roam down the river from Broken Blade.
They don't have their Rakan. Vulcan still coming out of base right now. Lira steps forward. The charge goes down onto Grig, but he's going to be safe as Broken Blade takes a bit of true damage from the barrels. Vulcan using the ult on one person. The flash from Broken Blade keeps him safe. And now we'll see if TSM can get back into this fight with a counter engage. Good damage onto the top side of the fight. Huni not looking too good. Very worse for the wear in this, and he is going to have to back off as Lira's World Ender will fizzle out. Now mid-map pressure gained here by by Clutch Gaming. If it's turret, that feels great, but you still have Zven and Smoothie, and that is hell of a lot of wave clear.
Yeah, a lot of ultimates traded here, and quite a few flashes. That's Broken Blade and Bjergsen burning theirs. Nobody from Clutch uses a summoner spell there except for the Ignite from Vulcan. So that sets up for this possible Baron fight. TSM have a very healthy gold advantage, which does translate into inventory right now. Multiple Infinity Edge builds here. But the summoner spells might be an opening for Clutch Gaming. They really don't have a lot of time left to work with. They're going to have to try and attack those solo laners in this Baron, or just give it up completely.
Yeah, it's huge. The quickness is down. That's their way into the fight. We said it multiple times. Chains go down on a Smoothie, and they do force this flash. The catch potential is here, and they're respecting that. Clutch Gaming wants into the fight. Damonte just over the wall. He's going to have to 2v1, 3v1 on the backside. His Pop Blossom's going to go off. Lira almost goes down, and Vulcan are retreating from the fight already as TSM are able to take Baron, then take the fight. They're putting everything on their plate, and they want seconds. Damonte gets popped down, drinks him under the table as Grig likes that contest.
Yeah, Clutch trying to make their play here. They know this is a small opening that they have since summoner spells might be away, but they get a little bit too close.
Huni's only one charge there. Another charge from Flawless Duet, but Broken Blade's not able to come through with enough damage as Vulcan is now pulled to safety. TSM with that advantage down mid lane, and Clutch has to react.
Yeah, Baron buff means they're going to get this tower, and the inhibitor tower should be soon to follow. Damonte still in the death chambers for 20 seconds. TSM actually rotating top to get the second outer first and the extra gold.
And this is what it looks like when you have the lane set up. It's not even like they're doing extra work. They go top, the minions are there for them. It's kind of what Bjergsen was doing in the bot lane. It's been pushed out now, but TSM has that sixth man moving on the map when they are not moving. Top second tier turret goes down, and we'll see this Baron play one more time as TSM come back for the fight.
Yeah, Damonte tries to get in there, but they have no vision. So he doesn't know Bjergsen's in the tri-brush there. Gold card at the ready. They immediately lock down Damonte, and he's got nowhere to go. Inside the Baron pit, no flash.
Good dodging.
Could dodge a couple skill shots, but in the end, all of the dodging room was taken away, and TSM with the Baron buff should be pressing in on the rest of the inhibitor towers.
Scuttle Crab, the fight to end all fights. Not am I just gonna be dead? Never mind. Thought Damonte was going in. So we'll see. Broken Blade now pushing down the bot. He'll start to bring that up onto TSM's side. Ultimate used by Twisted Fate as he gets himself into blue position, just denying resources, but now being that fly that CG has to worry about. It's not showing himself just yet. I like the way that Bjergsen's playing here, trying to pull people back and forth on the side of Clutch Gaming. They aren't biting though, so they may be able to get the fight they want. Ooh.
Rakan ultimate
That's
used from Vulcan.
the ult.
Exactly, that is the ult for their team fight. TSM now have to worry about so much less. Just ward up your flanks. Return to the siege here. Just march the turrets down. Zven already on it, moving the minions up.
Quite a bit of weight for Vulcan to go back in. Still, the in and the out happens as quick. He can get the shield back if he's not CC'd. Like I said, all 5 members of TSM, though, have that hard CC, and their siege potential is just out of this world. Clutch only stays for a bit as they know the second tier bot is going down. It's only a matter of time. And that time is Clutch trying to put a defensive counterattack towards TSM. 32 minutes on the clock right now as we're coming up on 33, and TSM usually doesn't have much longer of an average game time.
Yeah, look how Smoothie's so far behind the carries right now. It allows you to get easy prismatic barriers onto them. Actually, ultimate from Bjergsen, they're going to switcheroo to the mid tower here. Take that one down instantly because the minions are already there, and TSM are inside the base.
A lot of the power you see out of Arise Realm Warp just coming out of the Twisted Fate gate as Destiny makes his way around the map that much easier. The trap setup here from Zven allows just no engage or counter engage to come in. Lira has to choose a different path to get in, which makes him a little more dangerous, and that is the name of the game for Clutch. Everything is dangerous right now as TSM stares them in their eyes on the front steps of their own base.
All right, Clutch Gaming, they don't have a lot of time. Rakan ultimate is back and available for Vulcan. But again, look at these Caitlyn traps. It's so difficult
just
to
shot
find
outside
a way.
range. What?
All right, they're looking for it. Lira on the outside, on the wards. Can they force it through? One opening in the traps has been made, but the tower's about to fall.
Easily done. Zven having the time of his life on Caitlyn this game. Top turret's gonna go down as well. And Broken Blade and Bjergsen just in the two-man powerhouse team of Bass Brothers on the top side of the map. One CCs, the other gets in to make the cuts. And they leave with a sufficient dinner and sufficient pocket of gold. This is bottom lane being cleared out. It's all kind of very slow and methodical by TSM right now. They don't want to go too hard, make it chaotic, and get themselves caught out. A nice hit over on to Zven. He could be going down, but he gets a perfect flash and Caliber net to safety. And now it's going to be the turnaround as the base is getting torn apart from Bjergsen and Broken Blade inside. Broken Blade even has GA to keep this fight going. And Kobe, their base is being turned into shambles, and Clutch needs to make something work at the end here, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah, they're getting attacked on all sides. TSM are able to finish off the top turret. Bottom one barely survives with 1 HP on that inhibitor. That is the last auto attack on any inhibitor, as the top 2 have been killed, but they're going to call it a day's work at that. Go for the reset, spend that money before returning to finish the job.
30 seconds on Baron. You might want to get that. I mean, they probably won't be able to come out in a fight. But I think this is what TSM fans wanted to start seeing out of the team. Much more structured play. They've only died 3 times across the map, and Smoothie's been sought out when his flashes were down for that situation and getting a bit caught by Vulcan. But other than that, everybody's playing around one another very well, and they were able to get that early game quite fast.
All right, TSM, all power in their hands.
Yep.
Super minions flooding down top and mid. Clutch Gaming making a last-ditch effort. They're trying to play off of mid lane here. Teleport out from Damonte. Huni's walking out of the base. They've got to find something before those super minions get up to their Nexus turrets. They know the Baron is a very, very juicy target for TSM here.
No flash in there for Vulcan. Eyes on him for the quickness as he gets his way in. You can see Cody Sun is Neeko'd out, so Damonte has just teleported into the fight there. Chooses to be Huni. Throws Huni in, gets Smoothie and Broken Blade on a bit of the run as he trolls him. But look at Bjergsen slowly making his way down on the bot side. Should be able to dodge these barrels, and he gets a little bit of speed. He's going to be out.
Bye-bye.
Crowd control to stop him as the Twisted Fate gate goes down. And it is TSM's destiny to grab Baron once again. They rinse, repeat. And they'll be right back to the front door of Clutch Gaming's base, where there are already super minions. Clutch either has to fight or die right here.
Bjergsen's going for it!
Take 8 seconds to back. Bjergsen inside the base. Huni versus Bjergsen in the 1v1. A few minions there to help as well. Oh, Broken Blade's gonna be there in just a matter of seconds. The 2v1 is just gonna be too much. He gets down the stopwatch. We're getting a little ham here, boys. That's gonna be Bjerg going down. They feel like the team can come in and clean everything up as Broken Blade get pop blossom down. And now Broken Blade will come back up. We'll see what he can charge to if he decides to go backwards. Vulcan is back to safety. Lira able to get the Guardian Angel there, but no reset on his ultimate. This is going to be a tough one for him to manage as he goes down. The Nexus is open. Damonte's clone runs out, says walk this way, but no one cares on the side of TSM. They break the 500 mark. They're feeling good coming into week 3, and they're going to start it off with a victory over Clutch Gaming.
TSM moving up to 3-2 here. Definitely a pivotal game for both teams as they get the advantage. Caitlyn and Lux bottom lane. Story from the beginning here off of that first blood, and story at the end as TSM make the final push.
And Lux is so powerful. We saw Smoothie being the focus of half of the kills in this game. And it wasn't even out of position. A lot of the times, these were fights that Clutch had to find. This pick, I feel like, brings so much power in, but around the map, they played it well. Like you said, when TSM broke down the bottom turret, they instantly started to spread out Bjergsen on TF, and Broken Blade on Irelia could already take his lane one-on-one. So it just started to spell bad things for Clutch, and TSM played their pace very well.
Yeah, it just seemed like Smoothie had laser focus on Vulcan. He was able to land the binding for the first blood on the exit.
Down the lane.
He was able to deny all of the engages, and if you have a difference in the supports like that, where Rakan's whole purpose is to get those engages, and it's being stuffed by the harassment support there from Lux and Smoothie's great bindings, there is very hard to work your way around that.
I'm telling you, man, as a Rakan player, that half second they put on activating his ultimate changes up how much time the other team has for you to see coming in, and they're just one quick binding, you're done, and you have to do it in the Faga where we talked a little bit about that and how the initiation must be different. But for more on that win, Pastry is standing by for an interview.
Thank you very much. I'm here with Zven, the AD carry of TSM. Dominant last 2 games from you. How are you feeling about your recent performance? Because that game looked very straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, the game was okay. It was a bit slow, but it felt controlled, at least for the most part. I didn't play so well like mechanically and Caitlyn. I missed a lot of traps, which was pretty disappointing. But overall, I think last 2 games have been good for me. So happy with the result.
And then, of course, tomorrow you guys play up against Cloud9. So a very different test. How are you feeling kind of approaching that opponent?
We went 0-2 last split against them. It happened the same where we lose to them, but I think they haven't been looking like that insane. They've won most of their games, but I don't think they're unbeatable. So I think it'll be a good match tomorrow.
All right, well, thank you so much, Vince, for your time, and congratulations on the win today. Best of luck tomorrow, but we are going to throw it back to the State Farm analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Pastry Time. TSM snagging a win over our Clutch Gaming, who had a 2-0 weekend just last week. Diving right into Champion Select, a whole lot happened here because we were asking the questions around Clutch Gaming and the Rumble pick in the top lane. What would happen, similar to Optic Gaming, when a team finally decides to remove that pick from a possibility of play?
Yeah, there were 3 teams that were getting away with just constantly picking the same things over and over. Clutch Gaming was one of them, and they respond with GP, which I, for the most part, like. It's another kind of strong AoE team fighting carry. You know, you can kind of throw that ult down, kind of similar to a Rumble ult. A little bit weaker of a laning phase, and I liked what TSM drafted into it, where they have what looks like this fat camp top coming with an Irelia, Gragas, and TF. So I thought they were going to go top a lot more.
Right. By all accounts, that top side of the map looks like they will be living in GP's lane, looking to hold him down. And in the meantime, they drafted themselves that Lux Caitlyn, which is rising into popularity, of course, across the league, to again, appear to be self-sufficient in the bot lane.
It seems like one of the strongest bot lanes around right now, at least in terms of laning. It is really difficult to punish. And so, you know, especially when Lux can take Aftershock, the W is so strong, the Q is strong, all these things are so strong about her kit. Caitlyn as well with some of the changes to the crit that we talked about at the start of the season coming in. So there's a number of things about her that makes her super strong in this lane, pretty oppressive.
All right, well, that's the thoughts on Champion Select. But before we dive into the actual gameplay, I do want to discuss the TF in the mid lane because Crown, the first person to bring it out in the mid lane this split, there was some small well, maybe major differences, at least in terms of the build path between Bjergsen and Crown. We want to dive in and give you some early thoughts on why it was built this way.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it all in solo queue, this is kind of the preferred play style of a lot of players. And it has a little bit more utility available to it. You get more HP than you would if you were just going Lich Bane. You have a lot of move speed items. You have extra range to get off those gold cards to set up stuns. And then you play a lot more in the back line. When you have a Xayah as a TF, you often initiate fights, go in, gold card, stopwatch, and you try and one-shot someone. You lose a lot of burst potential and playmaking with the Xayahs, but you make it up with being a better split pusher and a better front-to-back team fighter, functioning a lot like another marksman. A lot of other people do go a little bit more on-hit focus with
I was going to say, you have options with this build. You can either go the rapid-fire eye-edge route, or you can go the Wit's End and the Rage Blade, a little bit more on-hit focus, maybe magic resist if they're magic resist heavy. This time around, AD heavy team comp he's playing into, aside from the Neeko. He opts for this build. And it was pretty fascinating to watch Bjergsen pilot this to some degree. We noticed he hit level 18 when Damonte was still level 15 in the game, and neither top laner for either team had hit 18 just yet.
Vulcan was level 11.
It was pretty disgusting what he was doing in terms of side lane pressure, but that was more in the mid to late game. I think we have to talk about how the early game developed here, because as we set up in Champion Select, everything for TSM looked to be telegraphing camp towards the top lane, keep the GP down. Not at all what happened.
No, and I think, you know, as soon as Smoothie made this really sick play where he interrupts the Rakan E back to the Xayah, as well as rooting the Xayah, and they get the chain trap with the root going down from the Caitlyn after, it felt like the attention suddenly went bot lane, because it's like, oh, we're smashing bot lane harder than we thought we would. Let's have Gragas hover down around here. Let's get TPs ready to come in by TF. And you see TF start roaming his way down as this play is going on. And so it does work out pretty well for Clutch here, but this is much more of a stem the bleeding play. It's not like suddenly Caitlyn and Lux were losing this lane. And the entire time, the top side GP was, for the most part, free farming. And so I was very surprised how easily Huni kind of got through laning phase. It was only a 5.5 difference in jungle proximity for the side of TSM.
Right.
It was only up there 5.5% of the time. So that was not at all what I was
Relatively low.
expecting. Yeah, and in the same time, you have your bot lane smashing so hard. So I understand why you kind of tunnel in on the strong point in the map, but it is getting away from your initial draft win condition.
Right. Strategically, not what we expected. Makes a little bit more sense within the context of the game. More than anything, though, I think what pleases me about that bot lane choice for TSM was the fact that in the first 2 weeks, Zven and Smoothie seemed to be underperforming just a little bit. Moving to a more aggressive, poke-oriented lane where they could control the pace, they have options to make plays and actually pick up kills, threaten a turret early on, is a little bit more the kind of aggression and pace setting that I want to see out of a team with the caliber of players that TSM does.
I think it was Smoothie's best game because we showed that one in the bot lane, but he also had one mid lane when Rakan was he was the main engage, and if you stuff him, your team comp can continue to split the map and pick people apart. And he had a couple of critical bindings to do that. So that's kind of where TSM's lead. It was a very slow game.
It's an extraordinarily slow game, and that makes it hard for me to really pinpoint or be hypercritical on Clutch's side, because when you're the team with the GP, you want the slow game. And so by all accounts, a lot of that was still seemingly playing out the way I'd want it to if I were on Clutch's side, and yet the win didn't come through. So you have to, I guess, assume from that point forward that team fights were mismanaged. We saw a couple opportunities in the mid lane where Lira looked for a play, missed flash, so mechanics and stuff maybe held them down just a bit.
Yeah, when we saw Clutch being successful last week, it was with this rumble and a lot of team fighting and skirmishing. They were very aggressive. This time around, whether due to the draft just having two passive side lanes and a not really winning mid lane matchup, it made it hard for Lira to find a place to go to really accelerate the pace of the game. And then they did get stuffed a few times they tried to make plays. So I think Clutch wanted to be more active this game and couldn't find an opportunity against TSM's nice defense.
And we'll remember that last week, Damonte was very vocal about the fact that he does not believe his team, himself included, is performing up to the level that they expect out of themselves or the level of last split. And so while they continue to try and find their footing here in the summer split of the LCS, TSM has put a tick in the win column. Our final game of the day, though, has 100 Thieves versus Golden Guardians. And if you want to put a magnifying glass on how Haunter, Froggen, Fake God, or Ryu performs, check out riot.com/ProView for a premium viewing experience that allows you to watch multiple POVs at once. Get your screens set up and we'll meet us here for Game 5 after the break.
They have not quite done the same.
Oh, the binding, the ignite's there, and the auto attack from the flash forward. If he can come back up, still a little bit low on health, he's going to be taken down actually by Broken Blade as he gives him the res, but that may be enough for the team to stall. TSM are able to take Baron, then take the fight. They're putting everything on their plate, and they want seconds.
Guys, they might be back now. Don't take me back. Hit it. I'm on GP. They're walking back. I'm going back. I think you guys, after this wall, but I'm not going to. No, we win this.
TSM, they break the 500 mark. They're feeling good coming into week 3, and they're going to start it off with a victory over Clutch Gaming.
Yeah.